Let's get into that match review. So obviously Leeds United 2, Everton 2, taking a good point away from home. Obviously a packed Ellen Road, back in the Premier League after a very long time of being out of the Premier League, going up and down the Football League ladder. And now those fans are back in the Premier League, and the atmosphere was really great. I can't speak on how the atmosphere was like being in the ground, but like when I was watching it on telly, it was really good. Like I sort of felt the presence of the Leeds fans, and I think that as a whole we did really good to sort of rise up to that pressure that the Leeds fans sort of brought onto us with their presence of being there. You saw last week with Arsenal how they couldn't deal with the Brentford fans and lost 2-0 there. Same sort of situation where you get a group of fans back into a ground which they haven't been in for 18 months. And then as well as that, it's their first Premier League game for a very long period of time. So I think as a whole, our squad did really well. And realistically, we should have won that game. And we'll talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin later on. But we had chances not only with Dom, but chances in the latter periods of the game where you think we could snatch all 3 points here. And yes, we were up 2-1 at a certain point in time. But honestly, I think a point is a really good result, especially Leeds away, which poses to be a really tough fixture for us in the past. But as well as that, I think we could have won the game as well. Let's sort of go through the game start to finish. Obviously we started off the game, and I think we started off the game fairly well. I think obviously Leeds had most of the ball, and that's something that was going to happen throughout the whole game. It's just the way that Leeds play and Marcelo Bielsa plays as well with that Leeds squad. And possession doesn't mean everything, you know what I mean? Like, possession doesn't mean that you're going to win the game. You could have 99% possession, but that 1% possession the other team has, they could use that to score a goal on the other end. So realistically, possession doesn't mean anything. And in this game especially, possession really didn't mean that much, because while yes, Leeds had all the possession, it was really us that was posing the questions on the counter-attack in those sort of scenarios with our pace on the wings, with the likes of Demarai Gray, Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and to a certain extent Iwobi as well. So as a whole, if you look at the game purely in terms of stats, it doesn't really tell you the whole story when you're watching the game. And honestly, if I was a neutral watching that game, I would be like, what a game we're watching right here, because it was end to end, back and forth, high intensity, very physical. It was a really good game of football to watch. And as a neutral, say for example, if you're watching that game, you would be looking at that game like, damn, this is a really good game of football. And as a supporter of the game, you're thinking, damn, as an Everton fan, of course, you're looking at that game and you're like, all right, we know what Leeds are. They're a fit, physical team that are going to run around the pitch for 90 minutes and not get tired. So it was really good to see the boys for the first start of the game. Obviously the fans are on their back, everyone's excited. It was nice to see us sort of just calm the game down. And while yes, we kept up with them in terms of pace, we also had the ability to slow the game down and play our game, play at our pace, and not always constantly play at the pace that Leeds play at. So all up until that the first goal, which is the Dominic Calvert-Lewin pen, I think we played really well. Obviously before that, a couple of Rafinha chances that sort of edged closer and closer into the goal, and we'll talk about his strike in the second half later. But you're looking at what Leeds did compared to what we did, and I'd say up until that penalty, it was a fairly even game. You're looking at chances on both ends of the pitch, you're looking at both midfields going to war, and it was a really even game up until Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets pulled down in the box. And by the way, there was no doubt in my mind that that was a penalty. And I was praying and hoping that would go to VAR, because it was clear and obvious to see that Liam Cooper was holding the shirt of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and if he wasn't doing that, that was either a header in or that was a tap in for Dom. Clear and obvious penalty. And obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin steps up to take the pen and slots it home. And it's really good to see Dom taking penalties. I thought Demarai Gray might have taken it, because obviously he took the penalty in the Florida Cup. I thought maybe Richarlison would want to take it, but it's nice to see that Dom said, nope, this is my pen, I want it, I'm the striker, I'm going to slot this away, and he did so. So it's really nice to see Dom taking penalties. I hope that's something that we see more in this season, is Dom taking the penalties, because not only is that good for his goal tally, but that's good for momentum as well. So obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring in this game, scoring in last game as well, and if we can keep him scoring goals. If he continuously scores goals, maybe not every single week, but as long as he doesn't have a patch where he scores heaps of goals and then goes a couple games without scoring a goal, we need him to be consistently putting the ball in the back of the net, and this only helps that, and him being on penalties only helps that as well. So I'm really, really glad that he took that penalty, slotted it away really well, and we're up 1-0, and you're sort of sitting there thinking, we're up 1-0. What is the manager going to do to handle and hold this 1-0 lead? And it was clear and obvious to see that we weren't happy with the 1-0. You look at that game and there was multiple periods within that game. Say, for example, when we're up 1-0 or when we were up 2-1. It was clear and obvious to see that we weren't happy with just having that 1-goal lead and sitting back and defending. Under Carlo Ancelotti, for example, if we had that 1-0 lead, we'd be defending from minute 30 to minute 90. Under Carlo, and that's just a fact. We wouldn't be looking for the second. We wouldn't be looking for that extra goal. So that sort of tactical change and that sort of mentality change was really evident, especially once we scored that penalty, because Leeds really sort of came onto us a little bit, really tried and pushed for that equalizing goal, and I think we sort of coped with that pressure really, really well. And then Michael Keane, it's a long ball. I think it was Luke Ayling just does a long ball over the top. Michael Keane gets all mixed up with his feet. And realistically, you look at it and there's a couple of angles where you see it. He could have just hoofed it away. And I don't know what the hell he's doing. He gets tangled up in his feet and then Patrick Bamford just goes past him. Obviously, Yerry Mina needs to commit. He needs to close him down in the off chance that he shoots. And then obviously slides it in for Matthias Klick. And Klick just dinks it over Jordan Pickford. And there's nothing Pickford can do there. There's nothing Yerry Mina could have done there because he done what he needed to do. That goal was purely yet another Michael Keane mistake. And he should have just hoofed the ball. There was time for him to step up and then just whack it. But he didn't. I don't know if he didn't think he had time. I don't know if it was his feet getting tangled up. I don't know if he wanted to take the ball and dribble it out. I don't know who he thinks he is, but we saw it in the Man City game, last game of the season, where he tries to do too much crap and a mistake happens. We saw it in the Southampton game where he tried to do some fancy stuff and he makes a mistake and then we concede off of it. And we saw it here in the Leeds game. So technically that's 3 games in a row where a Michael Keane mistake has led to us conceding. He's definitely a confidence player, and I think that last season, the reason he was so good for us last season was because there was no fans, there was no pressure, there was no fans screaming and berating you, telling you that there's someone coming to get them and you can't hear the footsteps and the crowd's really loud. He's a confidence player, and if he has no confidence, he's not going to play well. His confidence was shot against Southampton because of that mistake. His confidence was shot again in this game because of that mistake. So Michael Keane yet again causes us to concede a goal, and that's a stupid goal to concede. Yet another sloppy goal for us to concede, and it was because of a Michael Keane mistake. We cannot keep playing Michael Keane. And if we do play Michael Keane, it needs to be in a game where either we're at home or we're at home in a cup tie with a lower league team. Like, to be honest, I just don't see where he plays for us. I don't see why you would choose him over Ben Godfrey. Like when Ben Godfrey returns, I don't see why you would choose Michael Keane over Ben Godfrey. And I also don't see why you choose Michael Keane instead of Mason Holgate. Because, well, yes, Keano's a big body. He's a tall lad, big lad, physical presence in the box. But what he also is a ticking time bomb, a mistake waiting to happen. And we've seen it in the past 2 games. We saw it in the last game against City. So he needs to either step away and really sort of talk to himself about where he wants to be. Because we signed him, 4 years ago? He should be captain of this football club, or at least vice captain of this football club. Already. He's been here that long. He should know the ins and outs of this football club. He should be that centre back like a Jagielka or a Sylvian Disten. He should be a centre back like that. But he's not. Because there's too many mistakes in him and he's too dependent on confidence to support his game. And you can't have that. You cannot have that in a centre back pairing. And you cannot have that in the Premier League, and you certainly cannot have that at Everton Football Club. So yet again, Michael Keane, a mistake from him, and then you go into half-time at 1-1, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking we should be 1-0 up here. But then as well as that, you're thinking, away from home against Leeds, we're drawing in at half-time, where will the manager change things to get us in the lead here? And you saw exactly where it led. We, again, come out of second half, running out of the blocks, firing, and Demarai Gray scores his first goal for Everton, and it's a fantastic goal. You see his pace and his power and his desire to attack defensive lines. He sort of misses his touch for his first touch. He sort of mistouches it, or he misses the ball, but then he gathers it well and shoots with his left foot. We have a winger there with pace and power and can shoot with both feet. So and he only cost 1.5 million. And Demarai Gray, by the way, a fantastic game from Demarai Gray again today. Really showed his potential, really showed his maturity, really showed his willingness to attack, showed his pace, showed his power, and obviously showed his wonderful knee slide that went horribly wrong. But you cannot fault the lads for his efforts today, his desire to win, his desire to score. And it just got topped off with his first goal for Everton, and I cannot be happier for the lad, because I think he's come in, he's hit the ground running, he wants to impress, he wants to improve, he wants to be in this team, and that's all you can really ask for from anyone, and that's all you can really ask for from a new signing as well, the willingness and the desire to play for Everton Football Club. So really happy with his performance, and really happy that he scored his first goal as well. And you're up 2-1, and you're thinking, holy crap, 2-1, can we do this? But then, out of fucking nowhere, Rafinha. Oh man, like the guy had literally terrorized us all game. His pace, how direct he was, his left foot. It was just bound to happen, because he was edging closer to that goal, and then eventually it just went in, and it was a fantastic shot. You cannot take anything away from that strike and that goal. You can say that we could have done better, and honestly we could have, because for him to be able to bring the ball down and curl it in the way that he did shouldn't have happened. We should have had someone on him, putting pressure on him, so maybe he would have gotten the shot away, but he wouldn't have that much time to bring it down and then curl it the way he did. It shouldn't have happened like that. And as well as that, we should have cleared our lines. Again, Michael Keane in the middle of this big whatever, trying to get the ball out of the box. I think it was Luca Dean was in there, Michael Keane, and maybe Allen. There were like 3 Everton players, and apparently all 3 of them lost out. And then it gets to Rafinha, and you have no one pressuring Rafinha, and then he scores that goal. So yet another, it wasn't as much of a defensive error as the Michael Keane first goal, but yet another defensive error, not only on Michael Keane, but our defense as a whole, to not get that ball out of the box when we should have. But again, not taking anything away from that Rafinha, the Rafinha finish. And you started looking at it, we're 2-2 away from home, and then as well as that, before that, when we were 2-1 away from home, and we're looking for the third goal. We are constantly looking for that third goal. We are not bringing on a Mason Holgate to make it a 3 at the back, then shore it up, and then make sure we see at this point. We wanted 3 points. Leeds wanted 3 points. We wanted the 3 points. And again, that's nothing. I couldn't say that against Carlo Ancelotti. When we were under Carlo, say we were up 2-1 when Demarai Gray finished it in the 47th minute or something like that. We would have defended from minute 47 to minute 90. And then when Leeds scored that goal in the 68th, I want to say, when Rafinha scored that goal, we would have defended from 68 to 90. Instead, we went on in the attack. And I would say, to be honest, we had control of that game. In the latter periods of that game, we had control of it because the substitutions helped us. I think that for a large majority of the game physically, we kept up with Leeds. And I think that's really testament to the fitness of this squad right now, and where they're at physically. So that was really good to see, a real challenge against a really fit Leeds unit that run around the pitch like madmen for 90 minutes, and they're just built that way. That's just how they've been trained. So for us to keep up with them was really good. But you could see players like Richarlison tiring, Demarai Gray tiring, and I think substitutions wise, and Iwobi tiring as well. Andros Townsend came on, Fabian Delph came on, Moise Keane came on, and I think with those sort of substitutions, it really sort of energized the squad a little bit, brought us a little bit of dynamism on the wing with Andros Townsend, brought us Fabian Delph, which didn't do too badly. I just don't think he did anything wrong, but it's Fabian Delph. And he gave me a heart attack when he slid in the side of the box, but we'll get to that in a second. And then you had Moise Kean as well. So some fresh legs, and I really think for the latter periods of that game, we controlled the game. And if anyone was going to win that game in the last moments, it was going to be us. Because he had the Michael Keane header that Melia saved, which honestly, I thought it was going in. And he had a couple chances here and there, and it just didn't go in for us. So all in all, 2-2, I think was a fair result. I think 2-2 as a whole was a result that I think both teams can sort of walk away from and think, yes, that was a fair result. I think fans can think that was a fair result as well. But to be honest, we should have won that game. When Iwobi slid in Dominic Calvert-Lewin for that 1v1, he should have chipped the keeper. And as well as that, the chance before that, he should have slotted that home as well. Dom had 2 chances after the 2-1 in, I think, a span of 5 or 10 minutes where he should have finished it. And say, for example, if we had a striker like Romelu Lukaku, he would have finished those chances. And I'm not comparing Dom and Rom. They are completely different players, and I understand that. I'm just saying Dom is a fantastic striker. He's a fantastic number 9, like old school, old-fashioned number 9 striker. Someone who is very good at heading the ball, someone who's very good at the hold-up play. But where he needs to improve is his finishing within the 6-yard box. He needs to improve when he's in those 1v1 scenarios is finishing. Can he chip the keeper? Can he slide it through the legs of the keeper? Because both changes, he just... The one where Iwobi slid him in, he did really, really well to shimmy away from the defender and slide that ball into Dom. He just shot it straight at Melia's chest. And it was so easy for Melia to just hold the ball on his chest. He should have chipped the keeper there. If he chips the keeper there, it's 3-1, and Leeds have a mountain to climb there at 3-1. So, should have won the game. Really, really should have won the game. A couple of players I do want to shout out as well. Allen was really, 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 really good today. I think this game was one of his best games in an Everton shirt in a long time. He was busy. He was up and down the pitch, pure box to box, ball carrying out from their half of the pitch, ball carrying out of midfield, really trying to push players on, winning tackles, getting physical. That is what we want to see from Allen. So I really, really, really enjoyed his performance today. And I want to also shout out Richie as well. A lot of people are sort of getting on Richie's back and saying he's too selfish, he's too this, he's too that. But he worked so hard today. And you got to think about the lad. He hasn't stopped playing football for 2 years. And he's coming up against a Leeds side, packed house, away from home. And he's putting in a shift. It may not look like he's doing too much, or he's not setting up goals or scoring goals, but he's working. Up and down the pitch, he's battled with Calvin Phillips in the middle of the pitch. He's battling with someone like that. And I think his efforts sort of went under the radar a little bit. And to sort of finish off my little player shout-outs here, Yerry Mina. The Yerry Mina versus Patrick Bamford little battle that they had there was a sight to see. You can definitely see from minute 1, Yerry Mina was trying to get under his skin. And it worked. It really, really did work. Yerry was getting under his skin. He was getting physical with him. He was trying to get cheap fouls to piss him off. And that little bear hug thing he did on the touchline was really interesting. I thought he was going to tackle him or swing at him. That would have been nuts. But he was just getting under his skin. And I think that was a really, really key battle in this game. And especially in that last minute, I think that, if I remember correctly, they had a chance. It was probably with the final kick of the game or something. Ball comes in, it's going straight to Patrick Bamford. All he has to do was bring it down and shoot and score. But Yerry Mina is a ball magnet. And all he did, he sniffed out the danger, he headed it away, and it was just so key for him to be switched on for the whole 90 minutes and be like, Patrick Bamford, you are not getting a sniff this game. So it was really, really nice to see that little battle there and to see Yerry sort of try to stir the pot a little bit against Bamford, which is what I really like to see. But as I said, man, all in all, 2-2 was a fair result. We go away from Ellen Road with a point. And as I said, man, a game we should have won. But I really, really did enjoy the performance. I like the attacking style of play that we are playing with this season, this sort of attacking mentality, this mentality that we are not going to settle for 2-1. We want that second. We want that third. We want the fourth. We want to consistently be putting teams to the sword, which over time we will do. But the sort of foundational blocks we have right now, they're looking pretty good.
J, we Scotty MJ. Blasting the rock, we're hitting the fade. Pull up in a whip with 21 bays. Here come the bastards, 21 days. Gun you boy, I know he's a waste. Baby, I know that you want a little taste. I know you want all the bass in your face. Brand new bag and brand new nails. Me and Lil J, we Scotty MJ. Blasting the rock, we're hitting the fade. Pull up in a whip with 21 bays. Here come the bastards, 21 days.